What's going on, SC430 community? My name is Henry. Today is January 9th, 2025. Today's video, we're going to be doing a walkthrough slash review of refoaming the Lexus SC430 speakers. So there is a refoam, or whatever you call it, a refoam kit that you can buy. This one I got specifically is SimplySpeakers. Ran about $65. It's for, I believe, let's see, 2, 4, 5, I believe, speakers. Yeah, so we got these two for the door panels. We have this big one for the sub, and it comes with two of these smaller ones that are also for the door panel by the lever to open the door. I only have one here because I did a test run on one already and it ended up working out really well, so thought I'd make a video on how to do the rest. Besides the foam, the kit does come with a brush and two of these repair adhesive glue. So you're not going to necessarily need two. I don't know why they packaged two, because I think, in my opinion, one is plenty. So, and then it comes with a business card. This company is based out in Florida, if you want to see that. I don't know if that's readable or not on camera. And then it has a pamphlet for basically instructions on how to do the speakers. And it also has YouTube videos on how to do it. The videos on YouTube make it seem like it's very easy to cut the foam. That may not be the case for everyone. And the videos from like 2012, so quality's not the greatest. So I'm going to show you how to do it specifically for the SC430. I have only 3 speakers to repair today. One small one that's in the door panel, this one, the sub, and one of the door panel, the bigger door panel ones towards the bottom of the door. Because the other ones I have, they were already still good, and then I did one test run already. So, tools you're going to need. You don't necessarily need the brush, honestly. When I did the test run, I felt like it wasn't really necessary. Because with how the speakers are built, you could just put the glue on and then put the frame on, and the glue will, spread itself out. But you can use it if you need to. And then you're going to be needing a T20 socket or screwdriver or whatever it's called. It's the one that kind of looks like a star. So you're going to need T20 specifically. We're also going to need a blade to cut the foam, but the blade takes a very long time. So if you have a Dremel, I recommend using a Dremel with a fine brush, because obviously we don't want to cut too much of the speaker because it could damage the cone of the actual speaker itself, and we're just trying to replace just the foam. So now we'll get started by disassembling the speaker up to what we need to cut. We're sitting on the floor here, but as you can see, this is the speaker. You can see there's a hole here, and it's all cracked up. It's cracked up all the way around with the hole right here, so it's already falling apart. And then this is the sub. You can see just with my finger. You can see my finger on the other side of the speaker. It's completely blown all the way around, along with this one. You can see there's nothing left. So we're going to fix that. So first, by taking out 2 screws, I believe there's one in each corner behind the foam. The way you can tell is by just looking on the back side of the speaker. So there's one right there in that corner. You can see that one little nub sticking out, and one right there. So here, this is the foam. This one's not really necessarily required, but the tutorials online say you can take it all off, but we do not need to do that in this case. So we're just gonna push this back a little bit, peel it back a little bit, just so we can see the screw. There it is. You can see it's sticking out there. And there's gonna be one right here. There it is. So we're gonna take those out. Alright, so now took the screws out so you can see I took a little bit off. It's not a big deal if some of it peels off. Then you want to grab it from the side right here, and it should just come right up. There will be adhesive because it is glued to the actual foam itself. So when you bring it up, there is going to be some resistance because of the glue. So we're gonna slowly lift this up. See, it popped right off because the glue's not good. So we're gonna use the Dremel to clean all the glue residue off. You can use a blade if you want to. It just takes a little bit longer. I'm going to use a Dremel because it's a lot quicker. And then we have the foam. So you can see it's already. Grab a knife. There's the knife. You can see it's already split right there because this would be the glue, right? And then this is where it would connect. So see, just pushing it back, it's already not even connected. This one is still holding on to dear life. Oh, there it goes. But you can see it's pretty bad. So we're gonna get rid of all of that. So we want to get this excess foam out. So I believe I can just rip this out just with my hand. Yeah, so I'm just going to use my finger to rip it out. You can use a blade if you need to, but I'm just going to use my finger because it's so badly dried out anyway, so it's just going to come right off with no issues at all. Alright, so got most of it off. So you can still see the gray from the old foam all the way around here and all the way around the cone. So what we're going to do is use the Dremel to kind of just sand just enough for the adhesive to come off. We don't want to go too deep because then we'd end up unintentionally damaging the frame and damaging the cone itself. So same goes with this one as well. So let's do that. Let's set up the Dremel and start getting this adhesive on. So got the safety glasses on and some lighting. Put the Dremel to the low setting because we don't want to go too crazy. And we're just going to slowly graze it just until we see all the adhesive gone. So you can see here at the bottom where my ring finger is, most of it is off, and then you can see the gray. So we're just gonna do enough just until we start seeing the black, basically. All right, there you guys have it. So you can see it's all black around. I don't know if you can see it, but I didn't get everything off. I just got enough off just so it's, nice and flat. Because this one doesn't really necessarily matter, because when you screw it down right, it's gonna have pressure onto the foam. So we're gonna do the same thing, but with the actual speaker itself. Again, being extra careful because obviously you don't want to damage the cone. see cleared around the outside now to do the cone. So the cone, we want to be very, very careful. We just want to graze it off, not put as much pressure as I did on this one, because this doesn't really matter too much because it's the plastic frame. We don't want to damage the cone at all, otherwise it will affect the sound. I'm not sure if you can see the difference on camera, but you can see right here, looks a lot better than comparing to this down here. So I just did the top. The way how I knew how much to Dremel down was just looking at the side of the cone, seeing it where that cone actually is, and then how much is extruding out from the foam that was there. There you guys have it. Got all that residue off. Again, you can do this with a blade. As the video mentions on their website on SimplySpeakers.com, a blade is doable. It just will take longer compared to using a Dremel. So now that we have everything here, we want to prep. We're gonna put the foam on it, but without the glue, just to make sure we line it up correctly, and then glue around the edges right here on the frame, and then glue the cone, put glue on the cone, and then slowly sit the foam right on top. See, it's gonna look like that. So we want to make sure it is centered perfectly, right? You want to make sure it's on a leveled surface here, so I'm use this to make sure it's leveled. Since I don't want to do this with one hand, I am going to first take this out. I'm going to glue the outer edge. It's going to be very, very, very thin. It's not going to be too crazy, because if you put too much glue, right, it's going to start spewing out the sides and over the top. So I'm going to put very light, but you want to make sure it gets everywhere, because once you put the foam in, you don't want any air gaps at all. And then that's on the cone as well. So you want to make sure you put enough on there so there's no air gaps, and so that glue doesn't spill out into the cone. We don't want to do that. We want to make it look nice, right? So that's what I'm going to do next. And then also with the glue, you want to make sure it comes out liquidy, because when I first did it, it came out like gel. So there you go. So that's what we want. Just to quickly show you how much glue I put on, there are some spots that I did miss. But once I press it on, it should spread out evenly. You want to make sure the foam, the extruded part, is facing upward. So then when you put this in, you want to press down on where the glue is at. So I'm going to be using a blade just to press it down so I don't have to use my fingers. And if you can get your finger up underneath the cone to press it in, you can do that as well. But we want to make sure everything is touching as it should be. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like. Doesn't look too bad. And then now we're going to... Alright, so this is what it's going to look like after you put everything together. I apologize for it cutting, the video cutting out, because GoPro ended up dying, so I called it quits for the day. But I am back the next day, and as you can see, it's completely sealed. There is some glue that kind of like leaked out when I screwed the cover back on, but that's not a big deal, because it's not inside the cone, right? It still looks nice. So if you press down on it, as you can see, that motion is still good as new. So we're going to do the same thing with the other speakers now. So as you can see on this one, there's not really much left on it, so I'm just going to use my finger to scrape the rest of it off. This one, see, as you can see, looks like from that little pillar right here, there's probably a screw there, and there's one right there. Might be, looks like there's one in all four, in the four corners, so we're gonna take that out. Should be the same T20, I assume. Yep, there's one there. Yep, one there. Looks like there is one on. Yep. And then right here. Sweet. So let's take this now. I'm gonna take the cover off. Now that I got the screws out, I'll use that if I can. Make sure you take your time on it because you don't want to break the plastic frame. Because the glue is starting to give way. I'm just making sure I go up evenly. Alright, and we're going to do the same spiel. Instead of using the blade, I'm going to use a Dremel to get that extra residue from the previous foam that was there on the frame for this frame and this frame, and then the cone itself. As you can see, there is part of the foam there, and then I don't know if it's possible to see on camera, but you can see the foam and then where the foam meets the actual cone itself. So, time for the Dremel. Nice and dremeled out. I'm going to get the foam, do a pre-placement. The foam does have a little thing coming out of the side, so you know the correct orientation, because there is a cutout right here, perfectly flat. So it should fit. Put it in, if I can put it in correctly with one hand. So it'll end up looking like that. So that's in the indentation. And then we'll do the same thing with the whole gluing portion, getting around the frame and on the cone itself, only putting just a little bit on there, but making sure there's no empty spots. You know, glue it in, press it in nice, and then we're gonna put glue on this guy around the frame right here, and then screw it on, and it will hold it all in place, and then let it dry for an hour. Haven't screwed anything back in. Foam is in, glue is drying, but you can see looks a lot better than before. So just gonna let the glue dry for an hour, and while that's drying, we'll go on to the sub. So here's the sub. As you can see, it's blown out. It looks like it's gonna be 4 screws instead of the T20. To get the frame off. So I'll go grab a screwdriver. We're going to take those 4 screws out. Okay, get the screws off, so this should just come right out. So now that I took it off, you can see on the edges there's some residue of it, so we're going to have to clean that off. But then I also noticed that we have to get this cord out because the frame is connected to that cord, as you see. We want to get that out, so there is that gray pin right there will help us get that clip or that connector out of there. As you can see, we got quite a bit of clean here. There's a lot of residue in here and a lot of residue on this frame and on the cone. So we're going to do the same exact thing as we did the previous 2 times. There you guys have it. Speakers back together. Phone looks nice on the 3 that I did. Pretty easy to do, surprisingly. I thought it was going to be a lot more difficult. It only made it super easy because of the Dremel. So if you have a Dremel handy, definitely the way to go. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck using a blade, and that would take some time for sure. But other than that, honestly, my review is pretty good. I definitely will do it again for my dad's SC430, and probably mine if I need it. So yeah, definitely recommend getting this. Better than just having to buy a whole brand new set of speakers, which could cost way over $65, right? Because this kit was 65 bucks to get one of every speaker. Besides, now that I realize, this is for the back seat. This is for the sub in the back. That's for the door panel, but it doesn't have the foam kit for the smaller ones that are on the door panel. I thought that was the door panel one, but I was wrong. That's actually the back seat one. Alright, so this is what I was referencing. The kit doesn't come with the foam for these smaller speakers, because it came with 2 of these, the 2 in the back, right, the ones that are right over here, and then the one for the sub. So yeah, it was most of it. I mean, kind of wish I had this one too, but it is what it is. But I'm gonna let the sub is underneath there, and then this other one, let it dry overnight, and then this one's fine, so I'm gonna put this back in. Unfortunately, won't be able to give you guys a test on because this is going to be part of Operation Frankenstein. But I think this is a really good product. If you ever hear the noises, like after you test this, you start hearing a little bit of raspiness, that means that the foam, when you put it on, there's either an air gap somewhere or it's not lined up properly. So might have to do some peeling and re-gluing in some areas if that's the case for you. But for me, I don't mind. This was just something quick to do for good old Frank here, so it is what it is. But other than that, I definitely recommend you get yourself a kit and fix the foam if you need to. Otherwise, other than that, thank you guys for watching, and until next time.